What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How you doing today? Hope you're excited because today we got another video for you. Today we're going over the top 5 goaltender young guns I think that have a chance to spike during the 23-24 NHL season. Couple things to go over before we get into this list. This list is in no particular order. We're going to be looking at goalies on Stanley Cup contenders that I think have a chance to spike if they go on a playoff run, stuff like that, because goaltenders are tough to determine card value, especially young goaltenders. And I also want to give a quick shout out to a longtime subscriber, Chris here, who left a comment on a previous video asking for a goalie list similar to this. I think he wanted to see more like young goaltenders that might emerge at the start of a season, but since we're midway in the season, I decided to tweak it a bit. Thank you, Chris, for the comment. If you guys want to see any sort of video, make sure you leave a comment down below with any suggestions. I may do a video about it. You may get featured in a video. Make sure you slap the subscribe button if you're brand new, completely free, change your mind at any time, and smash the like button on this video to help me out with the YouTube algorithm and help me keep making these videos for you guys. All right, kick off our list at number 5. Like I said, this list is in no particular order. What I did for this list actually is I went and I looked at the top odds-on favorites to win the Stanley Cup, and I looked for teams that had elite goaltenders who I could see having an absolute stellar playoffs. And at number 5, we're going to start with Igor Shesterkin and the New York Rangers. The Rangers have been a really interesting team here early on in the season, absolutely exceeding expectations, at least my expectations. Now they're also getting Adam Fox back, which is absolutely huge. And yeah, Igor Shesterkin, definitely top 3 goaltender in the league, and he's priced in as so. If you took a look at his last 30 days, his cards are actually down, which surprised me. This graph here is courtesy of Sport Card Investor, not a sponsor or anything, showing the last 30 days pricing of Igor Shesterkin's young guns in a PSA 10 condition. As you can see, it started at $299 US, and one recently sold for around $275 US, so it is down slightly. But Igor Shesterkin, I think he's definitely right now the best goaltender in the league, in my opinion. Now, of course, there are goalies with better stats, like we'll get to some later on in this list, but I think a lot of the attention right now is on Jonathan Quick, because Quick is just playing out of his mind. Like, he's surprisingly good. Like, no one expected the 930 save percentage out of Jonathan Quick, but it's obvious Igor Shesterkin's still the guy here in New York. Igor Shesterkin's going to be the guy in the playoffs, and I think if the Rangers go on a cup run, I think Igor Shesterkin's cards should go up. Do I think it's a good buying opportunity? I think it is. I like some of the other goalies better on this list than Igor, because Igor, like I said, priced in, but I think he's one of the best goalies in the league, and these prices show it. And before we get into the number 4 goalie on the list, I just want to remind you guys, I've said in previous videos, and I may have stated it a little bit, or touched on it a little bit earlier in this video, goaltender cards and hockey cards are mostly related to team success, not individual success, unless they have some crazy stat or something. So when we're looking at goalie young guns, we want to look at teams that have a chance to win the cup and go on good playoff runs. For example, you look at Akira Schmid last year, you look at Jake Ottinger, who performed really well in the playoffs the year before, you look at Aiden Hill last year. And speaking of Aiden Hill's going to be our goalie at number 4. You like that transition? I thought that was clever. I don't know. I don't know. I thought that was funny. Anyways, Aiden Hill, playing on one of the best teams in the league, the Vegas Golden Knights, Stanley Cup champion from last season. Honestly, he's got a 935 save percentage this season, which is absolutely insane. I did not expect him to have this much success this season and carry it over from the playoffs last year. We'll see if it becomes like a Matt Murray, Jordan Binnington situation, where later on the road, teams start to figure them out and see the holes in Aiden Hill's game, because I don't really consider Aiden Hill an elite goaltender. I don't know if you guys do. But he's playing like one, and I can't deny it. And we'll have to take a look at his pricing. For one thing, Aiden Hill is not on Sport Card Investor. I have no idea why. I guess because he's not really he wasn't a big young gun, and now he's definitely worth some money. So we'll take a look at 130 point here for the pricing. Take a look at 130 point, not a sponsor like Sport Card Investor, but hey, 130 point, I love your site. Feel free to reach out to me. Emails in the description below. Love your site. The last sale, Aiden Hill, Young Guns PSA 10 sold for $230 Canadian, which is up from one down below here. We can see sold for $78 US. So that's roughly 130 Canadian. So it is up quite a bit. Do I think it can go up more if they win back Stanley Cups? Absolutely. I think if Aiden Hill backpacks this team, I guess he wouldn't backpack the team because they have a solid team overall, but if he's the netminder for back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, I think without a doubt this card would gain value. Do I think it's a good buying opportunity? Maybe. I think the entry price is a little high now considering how well he's playing. Maybe if he starts to falter a little bit, I don't think he's going to keep a 935 for the rest of the season. Maybe wait for him to come down a bit and then buy the dip. The next goaltender I want to talk about here at number 3 has had a lot of hype behind him, and his cards have gone up in value. So maybe like similar to Aiden Hill, you want to buy the dip when they come back down to earth a little bit. It's Thatcher Demco of the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver Canucks have been everybody's big surprise of the season. They look like a true Stanley Cup contender, and they just added Nikita Zadorov as well to that already big blue line. And Thatcher Demco has been playing really well, just like everyone on this team. And if they go on a deep playoff run, all these Canucks cards I think will go up across the board. Pedersen, Hughes, and Thatcher Demco, of course. Yeah, so I like Demco. I've always viewed Demko as an elite goaltender in a bad situation. Now that his situation is good, he's showing he's an elite goaltender. Similar to John Gibson, I think John Gibson's also an elite goaltender in a horrible situation. Yeah, his career, that's a whole other discussion. But Thatcher Demko, I really like his elite potential as a goalie to maybe steal a playoff series or something like that. Taking a look at Demko's PSA 10 Young Guns graph, you can see one spike there and sold for $139 US before it dropped back down a bit. Now, I think if it continues to drop down, maybe it's a good buying opportunity because I do think the Canucks are able to win a playoff series, at least the way they look right now. Maybe if they play LA, I don't know how I like their chances, but we'll have to wait and see. That's so many months away. I think you got lots of time still with all these goalies to kind of wait till like maybe closer to the deadline before you make your decision if you want to invest in goalies in the first place and what goalies you pick and choose. All right, up next, coming at the number 2 spot, might be my favorite young gun on this list. It's going to be Jeremy Swayman of the Boston Bruins. Jeremy Swayman currently splitting the games 50-50 with Linus Ullmark, and he's been playing spectacular. Both him and Ullmark have been playing well. I think they've split the games like exactly 50-50. Like Swayman started 12, Ullmark started 11 or something like that. And Swayman's looked like the better goalie so far, but it is close. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they started Ullmark in the playoffs, if the playoffs started like tomorrow, for example. But I'm excited with Swayman. If anything were to happen to Ullmark, Jeremy Swayman for sure is like good to go for the playoffs. He could be their guy and lead them on a cup run. Couple things I really like about Swayman's card, like his Young Gun card right now. One is the market. He's in a good market. There's lots of Bruins collectors out there. And the other thing is his entry point, his price entry point. His price isn't too bad for how good he's been playing. And it's obviously lower because of Allmark. But like I said, if you're going to be buying Swayman cards, expecting them to go up during playoffs, you're going to kind of have to expect him to start over Allmark. And the only way for that to happen, in my mind at least, is if Ullmark either performs terribly early on in the playoffs or he gets hurt. Looking at Swayman's graph over the past month of PSA 10 Young Guns, it's been an absolute roller coaster. Started at 88 US, went down, up, and down again. So right now it's sitting around 75 US roughly, which is like $100 Canadian. So that's not too bad. I think it's a decent investment. Just know there's a chance he might not start in the playoffs at all. Coming in number 1 on the list, Swayman might have been the favorite if Ullmark wasn't around and Swayman was the one guy in Boston. But I've talked about this guy a ton on the channel. I think he's an elite goaltender playing for an elite team. Jake Onger of the Dallas Stars. The one thing holding Onger back, though, is the market he plays in. That Dallas card market isn't terrific, but Jake Onger, just consistent over his career. I think he's an elite goalie. I think he's playing on a cup contending team. And yeah, Onger, great guy to invest in my opinion, for this playoffs. The Stars made it all the way to the conference finals last year. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they go there again this year. And just looking at Andre's stats over his whole career, pretty much, just consistency. Consistently around 915, 916, 917 save percentage. That's what I love to see in NHL players, just consistent elite performance. And looking at his graph here, it's very similar to Swayman, how it's just up and down and up and down. It can start around $100 US. Currently, it looks like it's around $85 to $90 US, which I think is pretty reasonable. If you do want to invest in goalies, I think Andre is one of the better ones. Just know they might not go up very fast because of that rough market. Not a lot of people are paying attention to Dallas. But if they were to win a Stanley Cup, I think his cards would definitely go up in value. Jake Onger, I think he's an elite goaltender, definitely top 10, if not I think top 5 might be a little bit of a stretch, but definitely a top 10 goaltender in the NHL. All right, and that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you drop in the comments below what goaltenders I missed. If you think this list is absolute gibberish, let me know down in the comments below. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, completely free, change your mind anytime. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Take